Hey guys, it's me, William Jr., also known as LJ, here with day 3 and story 2 of the 7 million celebration of my favorite channel, Monstercat. So, as for the first story, I spoke more about basically how I discovered Monstercat and how much it was like pretty much a savior to me, and now I'm talking about a special event that happens in Monstercat. Something that's been going on for a few years so far and still going strong. And I thought, why not talk about it? Because today is the day of this event. The latest episode of this event. You may already know what I'm speaking about. That is Call of the Wild. A place where strangers become friends and friends become family. So, for Call of the Wild, I remember the very first time me discovering this was more in the realms of, I think it was around the 2016 Monstercat Mixed Contest, where I joined in one of the, I think maybe 126, episode 126. And I think to myself, let me see what this is about. There's something new at Monstercat I never knew of before. And let's just say I was very confused. Because they were in the middle of a contest, I had no idea about the mixed contest, so I kind of just went away. I said, you know what, let me just stick with listening to some of the tracks and just studying up on it. That is, until I decided to join back into it once again and understand it more better when it was Call of the Wild 161. That was my very first time of me really seeing an episode of Call of the Wild and understanding what it's about. It's a place where strangers become friends and friends become family. I was a stranger who got used to the environment, became a friend, and now, look at me now, I'm part of the Monstercat family. And it took 2 episodes for me to really get into the feeling of it, that this is an event where they play certain throwback songs from Monstercat from the past, and then they showcase new songs and special events that are happening in Monstercat. At that moment, this was when Rocket League Volume 1 was starting to be released, and it was certain new tracks were being shown from Monstercat Rocket League Volume 1. I think this is when they showed Tokyo Machine, and they also showed Slush's song Love You, Need You. And then, once I get to, I decided, you know what, this is how it is, and you can be able to get your tweet featured on there. And 2 of my tweets got featured on 162, which I could not believe. I remember my heart beating every time I saw it there. And it's an episode I always look back upon and watch again, because it was just such an amazing moment. I felt like I was known as Monstercat. Monstercat noticed me! That's the feeling I had. Now, as time went on, I was just hooked. Every Tuesday, I would make sure that I came and saw Monstercat. I would see Call of the Wild. And then I kept on making sure I watched it. I was, as well as not really watch every single one. I couldn't promise that. I tried seeing as much as I could. However, I really want to thank Call of the Wild. I really want to thank Monstercat for showing me people who also were big fans of Monstercat. I could not believe it. Because I felt like for me, for so long, I felt like I was the only one who actually knew Monstercat, who actually was a huge fan of Monstercat. No one else around me really cared, because Monstercat was an independent musical place. And it kind of didn't surprise me, because many people would not hear it. They would not discover it. I don't believe Monstercat really showcased itself to the public as much. But luckily, every time I looked at the Twitter feed of Call of the Wild, every time it was 161, 162, 63, 4, 5, I would meet and talk to these people, interact with these people who also were huge fans of Monstercat as I was then. And it filled me with such a immense amount of joy that, like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who enjoys Monstercat, who can relate to someone of Monstercat. It was just such a family feeling. Yes, I said a family feeling. I was stranger, friend, now family member. And it was just such an amazing feeling, and I could not thank those people enough. Yes, I know they would think, like, why should you thank me for? I'm just a fan of Monstercat. But it was really such a breath of fresh air, a sense of community that I did not feel at all when I was in that moment of discovering Monstercat, listening to Monstercat, and being around people who do not share the same interests as I did musically. It's basically like you gave to me as much as now I give to you. And it's something that that's like a debt I'll never be able to repay. No matter how much merch I buy, from shirts, to flags, to plushies, it's not something I can really repay. Even in words, even with me making this, it's still not enough. But I just wanted to make sure I make this video and speak about this because it's something that I really believe really propelled me to become pretty much a Monstercat fanboy. So I am just so happy that Call of the Wild came into me. And yes, I even did some research on how it was in the past when it was just called the Monstercat podcast. It still makes me laugh every time I watch some of the old podcasts, some of the old Monstercat podcasts before it was Call of the Wild, and they would start like, there's a bad kitty. I can't even do it with a straight face. But it told me that I missed out on quite a lot, and I'm so glad I was able to catch up. However, I feel like the most pinnacle moment so far in Call of the Wild, it had to be me finally seeing the mix contest, being a part of the recent mix contest, when now I finally understood what it was all about. It was many people who were mixers, who mixed certain songs, had certain challenges each and every time, and they became finalists, and they would have to mix certain stuff, like, at least for their time frame was about a week, to be able to get free DJ equipment, be able to have their, name in, how do I say it? Their name plastered or shown in the Monstercat community as, we were here, we did this. Because of our love of Monstercat, we did this. And it was such a interactive and such an amazing experience that I could not really put into words. Mainly because it was such an amazing feeling. I interacted with some of the mixers, some of them being Ethany, to Duality, the only Pixel 19, to Berry Fruit, Prime, to Kronos, to QMN. It was really an amazing experience, and I would not trade how I was feeling for the world. And God forbid me trying to vote for the next contest. I was a total wreck. I was a total wreck. But above all of that, and what I felt, all the feelings were all positive. All the feelings were all joyful, and it was something that I really, really needed in my life. So, to the people who worked on Monstercat, to the people who made the podcast come into fruition all these years, and especially today, I just want to let this be me telling you thank you so much for everything that you've done. And I would not trade these memories, these moments, these friends for the world. You guys truly are the best. From fan to worker to Dan to Angela. You guys are all the best, and I cannot thank you enough. So that's basically all I really want to say about Call of the Wild. And I know it's less than 4 hours, so I'm still going to prepare myself for it, obviously, and be ready to rock out once again. And I'll make sure I think of another story to make up for the next video. So, without further ado, in the words of Dan, later days. That's a bad kitty.